guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I'd show you guys how I go about building natural features such as cliffs. So this tutorial is going to be me showing you how I build things like cliffs or ridges. It's a very easy thing to do as long as you know the technique and kind of what blocks to use to do it. So again, cliffs, I say cliffs, but you can really use this in a lot of places. You could have it on like a ridge, or you know, as an actual cliff by an ocean or something. You know, you can use it wherever you really want. So I'm gonna make a cliff that would be on the maybe on the edge of a beach, because that's one of the easier ways to kind of demonstrate it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make up kind of a mock beach. Now the first thing you want to do is kind of outline with a line the kind of base of your cliff and kind of the shape you want to get. So I'm probably going to bring it in here. Now it doesn't really matter if you have odd or even blocks. You know, there's no real rule with it right now. Now what I like to do is, because I like to carve out the cliff and make it different, I like to go about 4 blocks back from the kind of line. Now the idea is you do this and then you can fill it in and you can essentially carve out the cliff. Now that allows you to kind of have a lot of flexibility. Instead of placing each block by hand, you can have a nice bit of flexibility with forming your cliff. Furthermore, like with this bit as well, you can also kind of get a good idea of how tall your cliff might be. This process does take a little bit of a while. I'll probably I'll probably speed it up for you guys. So here we are. We've got our kind of really basic looking cliff here. Now I'm not going to be doing things like wave cut notches and stuff, which you would find at the base. I just kind of want to have a cool looking detailed cliff face that's kind of just, you know, doesn't have those sorts of typical features. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab things like the stone. What I like to do is with cliffs, I start off with the stone and then I add details and other blocks afterwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to carve out the kind of shape I'd like. Next, what you want to do is you kind of want to add all these slabs and stuff. Now again, this is cliffs and stuff are like really like just trial and error. You know, you probably won't be 100% happy with how your cliff looks the first go around. You just got to kind of keep having a play around and just kind of find something that looks okay to you and kind of like fits what you want with your cliff. Oh, that's the wrong block. I think that is looking okay. I mean, again, I'm probably going to change a lot of this around, but it's a good kind of basis to build off of for my cliff. So the next thing you kind of want to do is you want to add the extra detailed blocks. That's something I like to do, because once the stone's out of the way, you can really focus on the top bit of the cliff. Which, you know, that's a whole different ball game. Like it requires a lot of kind of coordination, I suppose you could say, because it's hard to make it look right, so you really want to take your time with it. Now with the stone, I like to do it in kind of chunks as opposed to dots. With certain blocks like the diorite and andesite in my resource pack, they blend in really well with the stone, but I'm still gonna do these in kind of chunks because I think that looks like quite nice. That looks well, that's bad English. I'm tired. I'm recording this at like nearly 10 at night, so yeah. But I hope that you guys find this video useful. Okay, so we'll add a bit of diorite vein. This isn't diorite, this is andesite vein here. Now I'm going to get some cobblestone in here as well. Ooh. Yeah, see, I can go in and add a stair block there. I will add little bits of the cobblestone in and around the other bits, just to add a nice little bit of extra variation within the stone itself. But overall, I do like to keep the stone types grouped together because I think that looks the best. But mixing it up isn't the end of the world. Okay, I'm going to add more of the more special slabs and stuff. Make that one cobble. Right. No, I don't like that. I'd say this is looking good. I'm going to add an extra bit of cobble there, I reckon, and change this to andesite. Now this is I'm quite happy with this. Now it's up to you whether what kind of blocks you want to add to your cliff, and you know what kind of things you want to add to it. You know what kind of colours you want to go for. But I personally like this kind of stone mix of cobble, andesite, diorite, you know, and stone. Those work really well. You can also use mossy cobble. That works well. But I'm probably not going to use it in this case because I want to do a kind of beachside thing. So I'm going to quickly grab my sand and stuff. And the slabs as well. Just add this beach in. I'm thinking of doing a video on in the future because I'm doing a beach here now. In a previous build in the past, I made a really cool looking kind of beach and kind of sand dune kind of area. So if that's something you guys would be interested in seeing, let me know down below because I could do a video or something on that, kind of show you guys how to make some really cool looking beaches and such. You know, that'd be quite cool. Replace the sand here. Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to add the extra slabs. And that is one issue with the resource pack, is the slabs and stuff look a lot darker than normal sand, so that does look a little bit weird. Ideal, I'll just get rid of that. Okay, so we've basically got our we've got part of our, we got our beach here. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the top of the cliff here. So what I like to do is I like to take coarse dirt because that's the kind of base material I use to kind of form the top of the cliff, and I basically like to cover the back like this. Let's do the stone as well. There we go, and now what you can do is you can kind of see where you might want to have overhanging dirt. Now don't be afraid to remove stone that you've already kind of placed earlier on, because at the end of the day, you know, cliffs aren't perfect, they're eroded over time, they look rough. So it's really important to kind of try and achieve that natural look with the blocks available. So I'm going to add things like slabs in here, because I've got the dirt slabs available to me. I mean, you might not have these if you're not using a resource pack, but having things like slabs and stuff are really useful for achieving kind of a realistic look. Okay, I'm going to place slabs here because these are places where I really want to have kind of inclines and stuff. So I'm going to place grass here. Now this will look really weird, you're thinking, oh, coarse dirt straight onto grass does not look good. Well, don't worry, because we're going to be making this transition and look really nice in a second. the thing with, like, the good thing about cliffs and stuff, it's good to just use like kind of straight blocks and not really mix things up straight at first, so you can plan. And then what you can do is, once you've got it looking how you want it to look, you can go in and add the extra blocks like this. Okay, now I'm going to add some extra pods on and stuff. Kind of add a bit more colour variation, I suppose, with the yellow of the leaves and stuff. Okay, I think that's pretty much our cliff edge there. So as you can see, we've got a lot of blocks going on. There's a lot of kind of detailed blocks and stuff to kind of make it look more interesting. So the next thing to do would be to add things like leaves and stuff. So as you can see here, I've got a range of different flowers and leaf types and stuff. So those will be really important when it comes to adding details. Now on the edge of cliffs, because obviously they're being eroded over time, you don't generally find luscious vegetation. There's not normally a lot of plants, a lot of kind of plants growing. I mean, obviously there are some, but not as many as far inland. So you want to kind of, the best thing to do would be to just use a lot of grass, and when it comes to flowers, place them in patches, because they're not going to be incredible. There's not going to be a lot of flowers, but there will be some. So it's good to have some flowers. Just make sure they're kind of not overdone. Okay, so I'm going to add these ferns in. When it comes to adding vegetation to an area, always start with your grass and your ferns if you want to use those. And then what you want to do is you want to add things like tall grass. Maybe I'm going to add one fern because I feel like the ferns, the double tall ferns, really kind of bulk up the land. And now I'm going to add the flowers. So I want to pick something that makes sense to be growing on the edge of a cliff. So I personally come from Cornwall, which is the south of the UK, so we have lots of beaches and stuff there, and we tend to find a lot of kind of more rugged flowers living on the edge of cliffs and near beaches and stuff. So I'm personally going to go with these. Now, these are azure bluettes. I don't think those actually grow in Cornwall, but they look cool, and they look like something that would be growing on the edge of a cliff. You don't want to be smacking sunflowers on the edge of a cliff. That doesn't really look right. I mean, it's up to you at the end of the day, but I personally would avoid that. So I'm going to use these ones, and I'm also going to use some of the alliums as well, because I really like the look of the allium, and I think that'll fit on the edge of a cliff. Okay, so as you can see there, that's kind of how much I would go with for your patch of flowers, maybe even 4, because I think that looks good, and I like to also have a opposing contrast with the flowers, so I use the white ones there. Okay, now it's up to you whether or not you want to add bushes as well. I'm personally going to, but I'm not going to add very many because I want it to be kind of patchy in terms of thick vegetation. Yeah, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'll put that there, and then put that back there. Okay, I think this is looking good. At the end of the day, cliffs are very subjective. You can make them look however you want, but I think if I just put shaders on, yeah, there we go. I'm really happy with how this has come out. So as you can see, you've got your beach there. Now, I didn't really develop the beach too much because that's something I want to do in that extra tutorial video. So I'll show you guys how to make beaches in a future video. But the cliff here, I think, has come out really well. So as you can see, we've got lots of texture variation in the cliff itself. We've got cobblestone, andesite, diorite, lots going on. It adds a lot of detail and colour to the cliff, even though it's all grey. But you know what I mean. Adds texture. On the top here, we've got lots of different blocks. So we've got the coarse dirt, grass, the coarse dirt slabs, podzol. So that makes up the base of the ground, and then we've got the ground cover, including grass, ferns, azure bluettes, alliums, leaf blocks, tall grass, and tall ferns. So as you can see here, there's a lot going on, but it doesn't look like too much. It looks realistic, it looks good, and I think it adds enough detail without being over the top. Anyway, I really hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making this one because cliffs are something that a lot of people I feel struggle with. You know, they don't really know how to get it looking right, and I think here this video will help you guys make really cool looking cliffs. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, join my Discord in the description down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye guys!